Yo, let me tell you how I paint skin so your characters will be much better looking and also they will look more alive. So I'll give you every step that I do to achieve a good looking skin in my drawings, okay? So I've been drawing for like a year and a half now, okay? And I've made decent progress. Also, I've read a couple of books on that topic and watched a lot of tutorials and courses. So I think I have a decent knowledge about the topic and I can actually share with you all the things that I know. So you don't have to go and learn that, okay? I will just tell you. So as I said in previous video, I was telling you how you can shade your, how to actually shade. So we've made this ball here, okay? And today I will tell you how you can actually use that and paint skin for your characters, okay? And whatever you want. But painting skin was a really difficult topic for me because at the beginning I didn't really render, okay, my drawings. I would only draw sketches and I was happy with that because they didn't look garbage. And when I added skin, when I added shadows, okay, lighting, then they all started to look garbage. So it was a really big block for me, okay? And because of that, I didn't really wanted to, improve my skin because I didn't want to actually draw that and practice that because, it's outside of my comfort zone. And obviously I knew that, to actually improve, to actually make some progress, I had to start practicing skin and actually rendering and using shadows in my paintings and stuff. And it was pretty rough at the beginning, but yeah. So then I started reading books about those topics, how to actually render. I started to watch a lot of tutorials, okay? I would only consume like tutorials and I would, I would also watch courses, okay? And that really helped me with drawing skin. Also, I did a couple of studies, okay? I practiced it and that helped me actually improving my skin. I don't know, my characters finally weren't looking flat. So yeah, let's just start with the first one. Okay, first step, which is actually choosing a base color. Okay, so obviously your character may have different colors. Okay, it doesn't have to be, like this color. It can be, like maybe darker. Okay, maybe like blue. Okay, and you can use whatever color you want in actually this workflow. Okay, you can even make a purple and magenta looking guy or girl. Okay, but in this I will just use this color, okay? So first, how do you choose a base color? Basically for me it's somewhere here, okay? Obviously it depends on the, character, but for my characters I usually go here. So it's almost in the middle here, okay? Like here, this area, okay? More like this area, not too saturated, but like from middle to like, I don't know, to here, okay? So let's just choose color like that, okay? And make a bowl with it, okay? So here we have a simple bowl and we can actually make it more saturated because I think it looks pretty garbage on the other monitor. So the base color is, it's a local color. So yeah, what is a local color? Okay, a base color. It's basically a true color of the thing, of the, the stuff that you're drawing. And how do you actually achieve that? Okay, so you can, for example, if you had a room where there would only be like a pure white light, okay, from every direction, then you would actually see the pure color, the local color of the thing. And if you don't have, like the pure light, pure white light, then you can go on overcast day and, where the sun shines through white clouds, and then you would also get a local color. So it's basically just a color of the thing, okay, the true color. And then after that, after we have a base color, what we'll do is actually make a shadow. And how I do that, I just add a new layer. Obviously you can do the shadow on the same layer. I just do in every step in separate layer, okay, just so you can, see. And here you actually have like two choices, okay, and probably even more, but I use those two. So one way you can do that, one way you can add shadow to your skin is by, picking the color manually by hand, okay? And how do you pick that? So for me, a good rule is to actually, if you have your color chosen, okay? If you go like, okay, you look here and from your color to like blacks, a little bit more darker, then halfway, so like somewhere here, and most saturated, okay, so like somewhere here, we have a color of our shadow. But also, don't make this mistake where you just use that and you're happy. Now, if you use that, your shadows will get muddy, then your skin will look muddy. So what we have to do is actually change the hue to like more red, okay? And now we can use it. So you can also use like a hard brush, okay, or airbrush, whatever is your art style. So let's use airbrush. So go through the form, and here we have our, and there's obviously one thing, okay, maybe you have a hard shadow, okay, so hard shadow like that, or you have a soft shadow, okay. I mean, it's soft edge or hard edge, okay, it depends on the lighting condition or your art style and whatever you want, okay. But yeah, here now we have one way to draw shadow. Now let's go to the other, which is using blending modes. So what you can do is go to multiply, choose your color, okay, and here what you do is you just pick your color, okay. So we have our color, and here what I do is actually I can go like also like halfway, okay, a little bit more saturated, and also here, okay, and we have this color. Now this multiply layer, okay, this blending mode, what it does, it obviously makes this color more saturated, okay. It depends on the actually lighting that you want, okay, and it looks pretty decent. So we can use that because I see that, you know, this now compared to that, this is pretty dull, okay. Obviously it might still work, okay, but I want something maybe less saturated than that, so we can that the hue and the saturation moves forward. And also here we are, and you can see that the shadow color, okay, is in between the darks and our local color, so you see it works. Also here you can see that it also is there, okay, but this is less saturated than that. And also you see that this moved hue from like oranges to more redder. So yeah, but let's use that, okay. And also like this here, okay, the zone between light and shadow is called terminator, okay. So this is the zone that it's called, okay, and we can use actually that for future, so I'll tell you what you can do with that. But yeah, now let's go to the next step, which is actually adding ambient light. And what it is basically light bounced from other subject, okay. So you know, you have your sun, I was talking about this in the previous video, but basically you have your sun, okay, or your light source, and what it does is it shoots your light particles, okay, and what I do is they bounce, okay, from surface to surface, okay, and with each bounce they take the color of the stuff they're bouncing, okay. So for example, let's say this white stuff is a table, okay. Now if this bounces from white table and it shoots, so let's say light sources from here, okay, it goes like that. So here we would have our cast shadow, then we would get bounce light from here, okay, because it bounces here, okay, bounces here, okay, maybe like that, something like that. It bounces like that, okay, something like that, maybe. And one tip, okay, the bounce light, the ambient light, is in between the shadow color and your local color, okay, like not really in between, but it's much less saturated, okay, it's probably in the grays, okay. Hue, we can go whatever zone we want. I would go like colder, okay, so into blues, okay, and obviously a little bit lighter. So now if we do that, we get this bounce light, okay, and here you can see that this is darker than that and lighter than that, okay. So here we have our bounce light, okay. We can obviously erase it a little bit so it's not as strong, okay, because the bounce light is not really that strong, because with each bounce it loses its, I don't know, light, because it gets absorbed by the, you know, by the stuff that it bounces from. Now on to the next step, which is core shadow, okay. So basically this area now in between light and the bounce light is the core shadow. But what I do is I actually kind of enhance it by actually going here, taking this color and make it a little bit more saturated and darker, with value into, you know, red or whatever, so it looks more enhanced for me. And I like adding this because it adds a little bit of depth, even more depth. Okay, and obviously you get this core shadow by, you know, just not doing anything, but, you know, by adding it, like enhancing it, making it darker, you can actually, you know, make it look better. And with that, I'll go to the next one, which is ambient occlusion. So now let's use that. Okay, as I go to the multiply layer, okay, I choose whatever color, like it can be even this, and what I do is I add. So first, what is ambient occlusion? I talked about this in this video, and what it is basically the area where there is almost no light. Okay, where the light particles have hard time getting into. So let's say, okay, there is a table, okay, whatever, and it's, you know, the ball sits on top of it. So now what we do with ambient occlusion is this area here would get almost no light. And with that, you know, here there is no light. So let's take that color, okay, make it like that. So I would use that, I don't know, maybe around armpits, maybe, I don't know, like the areas where maybe the fabric, you know, the clothes touch your skin or something. You know, there is like a little of, there is like almost no light. Okay, so there would be, you know, the ambient occlusion like here. So ambient occlusion is actually only in, you know, in shadows. Okay, and it won't be in the areas where there is light. But because of that, the ambient occlusion actually would look like this. Okay, because, you know, there is a cast shadow here, like something like that. Okay, and it's casting this, and, you know, the ambient occlusion is in the shadow, because, you know, if it's, because it cannot be in light, because light hits, you know, this area here. Okay, and there is light, so there cannot be no light. Okay, easy as that. Also, now what I do on the next step, okay, is I'd add like more light. Okay, so I take this color, our local color, and I go even lighter, okay, and into yellows. Okay, so basically I go in the different direction that I went with shadows. So if the shadows are, I don't know, warmer, I go into colder light, and vice versa. Okay, here we can add this light, and also like the area here, okay, between the shadows and the like full light, there's a halftones. Okay, so those are areas with, you know, the transition ones, the transition areas. Okay, so here we have, you know, a skin, but with light I also add highlights. So let's do that. So for highlights, I just took a light color. Okay, I go like almost into white, and I go on the opposite hue from, you know, from the skin hue. So that's how you can make those highlights. Okay, and obviously it depends if you want to add, you know, obviously on the material of your subject, which is skin, but maybe it's oily skin, so like the highlight would be something like that, like harder. Okay, like hard edges. Okay, maybe it might be also softer. Okay, something like that. And what I like to do is I like to actually make hard highlights. Okay, so I'll do that like that, and yeah, that's basically it. But now, okay, before, like after highlights, what I do is I go to like textures and the final, I don't know, the final touches. Okay, and remember this terminator, okay, this area here. What I do here is I actually go to the add new layer, I make it hard light. Okay, or you can use whatever you want, like soft light, or I don't know, like there's vivid light. Okay, I use hard light. I pick like an orange, pretty orange color. Okay, I go like that, and I do this. So what it is, this area is basically, you know, like subsurface scattering. Okay, so it is like basically take a, I don't know, your phone flashlight. Okay, put fingers onto it, and you'll see that the, you know, the fingers now are orange, like very orange or red. Okay, it depends. So here I do like one stroke of this light in Terminator. Okay, and this area is basically, you know, like all the blood that's in your stuff, so something like that. Okay, and yeah, that's how I do that. Also with that, I'll go into like more adding more. So that's my actually favorite part. After that, after adding this, I go to my brushes, and what I do is I'll actually add some cool textures. So here I have a skin texture. So I love going into highlights, okay, and making it. So I'll go like something like that, and with that I erase a little bit of that, okay. And I like making the skin textures, okay. You can also go here, okay. You pretty much see that this is, you know, this looks like skin, okay. Also you can go with something like that. With this color, it also looks good. Obviously, it just has to be lighter than, you know, a little bit lighter than your bounce light. And from that, I'll go to another textures, ping pong, and which is like halftones. Okay, I've made this brush myself. Obviously, it's inspired by Samda's art. Okay, so full credit to him. And here, what I do is I add something like that in obviously halftones. Okay, so I'll take this color of halftones. Okay, and I'll go like that. To that, obviously, it's, you know, it depends on the actually, do you actually need that? Okay, don't you need that or whatever? Okay, you can probably make it even into here, but obviously less is more. So, you know, don't overdo it. Yeah, that's that. Also, I use those stripes, okay, those like that. Okay, and here what I do with that is sometimes I also use that with here. So I'll do like those stripes. Okay, I also erase it. Okay, whatever. And mostly I use that for hairs. And you know, my brushes are free on Patreon. Okay, so there's a free Patreon stuff, so you can join that and actually, you know, actually use them. Also, they're available in my, you know, in my school. So top link in the description below. Okay, you can join that one-on-one coaching from me and courses. So yeah, but yeah, I use that. Also, sometimes I'll do something like that where I go outside. Here it gives like, you know, like light, I guess. Okay, it breaks the shape, so maybe like here. I like adding those effects. Okay, they're pretty cool. But yeah, mostly for skin, like I also have like this brush. Okay, I've made it. It's also pretty cool. So yeah, for skin I use like those 3 brushes to actually add this effect. Okay, so yeah, one is like those skin pores. Okay, second is halftones and stripes. Okay, also I have a, I don't know, also I had somewhere triangles. Okay, but whatever, you can also make those brushes for yourself. You don't have to, you know, download them. And yeah, so I do first, I choose base color, then I'll go into shadows, then I'll go into ambient light, okay, the bounce light, then I improve the core shadow. Okay, I'll add ambient occlusion, then I'll add light and highlights. Okay, then I'll go and actually use the Terminator and give their subsurface scattering. Okay, and yeah, then I'll just, you know, like improve the colors and stuff and put some textures so the skin is more interesting to look. Now, if you're actually serious in improving your art, what you can do is top link in the description below. You can get my exclusive coaching, and I'll actually this month I'll be doing their courses, so how to actually draw faces and paint them and all the stuff, and also like a productivity course for artists. So maybe you're struggling with, you know, being consistent in your art. But yeah, also I will do 1 call a week with you, so I'll tell you exactly what you need to do to, you know, improve your art. Anyway, so top link description below. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, if you learned something, okay, leave a comment, okay, like, subscribe, and go look at my socials to see my drawings, okay. And that's it. So thank you and goodbye.